So, let's get a little bit of background about yourself, man. Have you always lived in Orlando? Can you give us a little bit of a quick background
Uh,
about you?
no, I have not always lived in Orlando. I've been here 4 years, 5 years, I think. I'm going on 5 years now. I used to live in Daytona Beach, Florida,
Okay.
as a young lad. And I moved when I was in college. I was going to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach. Got bored, dropped out. My grandpa sold the house that I was living in Daytona. And so then I moved in with my aunt in Orlando, where I've been for the past 4.5 years now.
Sweet. That's pretty cool, man. And
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been way worse for sure.
so
I
bad
could
is
still be in
good.
Daytona.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Daytona's ain't so bad. I know
Well,
people that live
if you spend very little time there,
there.
sure.
So tell us about your sketch comedy series. Welcome to the table. How did this get started for you?
Oh man, most people think that there's like a really fun answer to this question, and I wish there was. But unfortunately, all that was happening was that I was supposed to go on tour doing stand-up comedy when the quarantine started. And I was about an hour outside of Atlanta, Georgia,
Okay.
when I got an email saying that my next 2 full weeks of shows were canceled.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I stopped at a cookout parking lot. I ate my feelings, and then I drove back to Orlando. And like the next day, I was like, okay, so I have to stay relevant somehow. I have to keep putting out content for the few people that do follow me. I had to stay, nose to the grindstone. How do I do this? And I had just downloaded TikTok, or I'd had it for a little bit. I'd been posting like maybe 10 videos, not much. And I said, all right, let me just put out a sketch every single day during quarantine, thinking that it would just be like 14 days, 30 days tops, and we'd be back on the road. Um, and at that point, it just became like a mad dash for content. Every thought that I had, I was like, how do I turn that into a sketch? Let me see if I can do this. And it took me 13 days of just random sketches before I fell on the first ever Welcome to the Table. And at that point, it wasn't even Welcome to the Table. It was just like a round table update of statehood. I didn't have a name for it. It was supposed to be a one-off thing. It was just supposed to be this one video, and then I would just move on. But people really, really liked it. So I was like, man, I guess I gotta do another one. And then that one took off, and I was like, I guess I'll just keep doing these forever. This is who I am now. And we're the first one was on March 30th. So we're 7 months in.
Wow.
And I've been doing at least one a week. The first time I posted, I still posted every day, but it all just switched over to the table stuff. So it just became a Welcome to the Table video every single day for the next 14 days. So I posted 30 straight days of sketches to start quarantine, and half of them were Welcome to the Table stuff.
Unbelievable. I mean, where do you get the costumes for each of these states? How did that come about? I mean, it's quite impressive.
Well, the first five I just had. They weren't anything impressive. Texas had like just a button up, flannel with a cowboy hat, which my mom had. Like I visited her and I was like, do you use this cowboy hat? I can't imagine that you do. And she was like, no. And I was like, can I have it? So I just wore a flannel and a hat for Texas. Florida was just a tank top, a flamingo hat that I just found at the house here. And then some American flag sunglasses that I just had as well. I bought them at a flea market in Melbourne, right above the hand saws, as you do in flea markets.
Of course.
New York was just a heavy coat and a beanie, which I only had because of the military. I have a fancy pea coat they gave me for when you're wearing your dress blues in the cold.
Sure.
California was just an unbuttoned flannel with the red beanie and some lenses that were poked out of some sunglasses. And then at first, DC was just a polo. So they were just 5 outfits that I just threw together. I was like, this kind of represents, you know, something or other about the state. And as people started liking it, more and more people started sending me things.
Sure.
So you can kind of see back here on my door, these are all of the hats, and I put them in alphabetical order by the state. So
That's amazing.
I have, I don't know which way this goes. Here we go. That's the, yeah. So I have all of these hats. These are alphabetical order of all the states, and then all of these over here. And that, I think it's about 62 different hats.
Wow.
That I have, including the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico. I've been doing the CDC. I brought the FBI in, the Second Amendment, the Army. Like I've brought, you know, all these different characters in. I've got a hat for every single one of them. And if I opened this door, it would just be, it's a walk-in closet that's just full of state-themed shirts that people send me. I've only bought a handful, and I've got like 60 plus of everything.
Oh my God, I love it. So what? How long would you say it takes to film each little episode? How long?
Just filming usually only takes like an hour.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. The rest of the process takes several.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because they're writing the sketch takes about an hour to hour and a half. Maybe if it's like a big one or there's a lot of news involved, it might take 2 hours to write. Filming takes about an hour to hour and a half. I'd say 45 minutes to an hour and a half for filming, depending on the amount of costume changes. And then editing is the big one. Editing takes like 4 hours to do one video. And that includes subtitles. It takes about an hour to subtitle all the videos. So the whole process takes anywhere from like 6 hours to 10 hours to do just one video.
A lot.
And then I splice them up. I break them up into, you know, minute-long sections. I put those on TikTok every day.
Wow, man. Now I saw you had an episode where you had yourself in like, you know, like standing next to yourself. I mean, that must have been pretty hard to edit that all together, right? I mean,
yeah. So the State House episodes, which is all the states living in the same house together, reality TV show style, shenanigans ensue kind of thing.
Sure.
That is shot horizontally, so I can fit multiple me's on the stage at one time. And depending on how close I'm standing to myself, it gets harder to do. Because if it's just two on one screen, I can usually put a cut straight down the middle, and as long as the camera did not move during filming, it's seamless. I can just put a little blur, and it's basically seamless. When there's like 3 or 4 of me on screen and I'm overlapping, then I start getting into like opacity masks and having to go like step by step and outline my body and then go frame by frame and move the mask as I'm moving as a person. So that whole process takes a lot longer. The State House edit, the last episode, I edited across 4 days.
Okay.
I shot and edited it as like 4 days. So I broke it down, the whole sketch, into like 4 different pieces, and I shot one piece every day for 4 days, and I edited it. But it still took me probably filming those is even longer because I have to shoot in one spot, then run back and change, and then shoot it again, and then run back and change, and then shoot again, and then change the camera, and then run back and change, and then shoot again.
Sure.
So filming that takes like 5 to 6 hours a day, and I did it across 4 days. So it was probably 20-ish hours of filming, plus about the same amount of time for editing.
Wow. Well, it's worth it because that was a great episode.
Thank you. I think it was worth it because YouTube paid me.
Listen, hey man, that works for sure. So, are there any states upcoming that are going to be joining the table that you could tell us about, or anything new?
Yeah, Arizona is the next state joining the table for a full introduction. I've kind of got myself on a little bit of a schedule to put myself at ease. So every third Friday, a new state is going to join the table, and the next one is going to be Arizona. After that, it's probably just going to be a random number generator until I hit a state that I haven't done yet. I've only introduced, I think, 10 states, like a full, a good introduction video. I think I've only done like 10 states. So I still have plenty to do. As long as people are still watching, I'll still put out some content.
That's great, dude. That's fantastic. And tell us about your Patreon levels. I know that's important for, someone like you to have that. So I guess give us a little background on what we can do.
So I started a Patreon a while ago, and I never really promote it because I know most people still don't have jobs, and it's a tough time for everyone. So I've never really gone out and been like, hey, subscribe to my Patreon, because I know it's tough for some people to do, and I don't want to make you feel guilty for not doing it. I think eventually when things get back to normal, I'll probably promote it a little bit more, and I'm super grateful for the people that do sign up for it. But for the ones that can't, I'm not upset at you for not being able to do it. I totally get it. The way that it works is there's 3 tiers. The first tier is $3 a month. The second tier is $9 a month. And the third tier is $25 a month. $3 patrons get access to any exclusive content that I happen to put out. Sometimes when I have a little bit of time during the week, I'll make a blooper reel of stuff that I've done, and I'll post that so you guys get to see some blooper reels.
That's cool.
$9 patrons get access to live streams whenever I do like a live stream Q&A on Patreon. They also get access to voting. So if I have like 3 states that I want to bring out next, I'll put that on Patreon, and $9 and up patrons can vote which state gets to come out next. Cool. And then $25 patrons get their name in the credits plus everything I just said. There's also some other little stuff that I do for them here and there. Like if I book a stand-up show, my patrons are the first to know about it. If the show is offering me like free tickets for some friends and family, I'll offer those free tickets to my VIP patrons. If they're in the area, they're free that day, they can get the free tickets. And then merchandise, whenever it comes out, I let the patrons know first. And then all patrons get a discount on my online store.
Cool. That's awesome, dude. That's really cool. So I got some fun questions here real quick. I thought I would ask you, I always like asking stuff that's not related to what you do. So like your favorite movie.
Okay.
Like what's your favorite movie? Some fans might want to know.
The Iron Giant.
Really? That's a good one.
Yeah. It's not one most people expect. I don't know what people expect me to say, but the Iron Giant has always been. When I was a kid, it was the Aristocats. But then I grew up, and I cry every time I watch the Iron Giant. Sometimes it feels nice to do,
Sure. That's great.
So yeah, Iron Giant, final answer.
Great choice. Love it. I definitely support that. All right. So favorite band. Next question.
A lot of the favorite questions I don't have like real answers for, because I don't know why, but I just don't have favorites of stuff.
All right, so like if I was to I'm sorry.
I have a few bands that I really like listening to right now, and I guess of those, I would have to say Ripe, R-I-P-E, Ripe.
Okay.
They're a little bit funky. I like that. Brother Ali is another one. He's a hip-hop artist. Is that what they call them now? A hip-hop artist? A rapper? I don't know. I don't know the proper terms. I just like listening to it. Chef Special is another one that I really like. It's Chef apostrophe Special. They're Swedish, but they sing in English, so it's fine.
That's cool.
Hippocampus is a good one. And probably a couple others, but I think those are the big ones.
That's cool. All right, sweet. So then also tell us about I know you got some upcoming dates for some tours in Florida and in Orlando and Miami. You want to give us a quick rundown of what you got coming up?
Sure. Let me pull up my schedule here because I don't write things down. So I believe on the 20th and 21st of November, I will be in South Orlando. They say South Orlando. It's in Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
Yeah, it's November 20th and 21st in Kissimmee. I'll be at the Margaritaville Resort in Orlando.
Awesome location.
Yeah, and those tickets are up and they're active on bonkerscomedyproductions.com. I'll post the ticket link on my website as well. I just have to, get some motivation to do that. And I had some shows in Miami at the Have Nots Comedy Club at the end of November. Those were canceled. We'll try and get those rescheduled, but I do have another show in Miami coming up as well. There's going to be 2 shows at the Villain Theater in Miami on December 12th, one at 7:30 and one at 9. The capacity is going to be very limited to, keep people safe, which is good.
Sure.
So when those tickets are out, I will be posting those, but that's not until December 12th.
Cool.
Other than that, I might be doing something I have not set in stone yet, but might be looking at hitting up the Looney Bin in Little Rock, Arkansas for New Year's. New Year's is a really big day for comedy. So I might be out in Little Rock on that day, but we're still in the talks for it. So.
All right. That's awesome, man. Super cool. All right. So was there anything else I missed or anything else that you want to throw in that you got upcoming or that I should be keeping an eye out for?
So I'll give you this little piece.
Cool.
I have been working on a project for a while now with other big creators. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Lonnie Martz or Lonnie IIV, Mash Spudson, and Laws Claws on TikTok.
Sure.
They do other stuff. They play characters. It's a good time. We're all friends now. We've all met through TikTok and talked, and we've all become friends. And I've been working on a project that will be a crossover series where their characters and my characters all kind of meet and just insanity happens. Yeah, Laws Claus plays Mother Nature. Lonnie and Spud both play different gods. Like they're both God, but like they kind of have like a different spin on it. And then I obviously will be playing Florida. And all 4 of our main characters are very chaotic people. So I think getting them in the same room and just having, shenanigans and chaos reign supreme, there's a lot of room for fun and activities and just insanity. And I think that'll be fun. I've written most of the first episode, which is kind of like backstory, introducing people. So it's not something I don't think will be coming out anytime real soon. Because it is a really big project to coordinate with 4 people that do not live with each other. But it is a project I'm excited about, and I hope to see come out sometime in the next several months. It'll be up and ready to go.
That's awesome, man. That sounds amazing. I definitely have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right, man. Well, listen, thanks so much for taking out some time. I appreciate it. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
Definitely, man. All right, cool. Thanks again.